And then we finally see the airfield. You can see he's a bit nervous by the way he put down that wheel there. He's now slowing down the aircraft to try and get over these trees. And hear that tone, he's hit sync. Oh, and then he's so close to those trees, and then he's so close to that building, it's ridiculous. Oh, hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, today we've got a very lucky pilot who scraped away with a very low final glide. So what is a final glide? It's basically the last glide from our last climb on a flight back to the landing point. We have computers that tell us whether or not we're going to make it back to the airfield. In this case, the pilot has got a couple of devices that will be helping give him information. Will he make it back or not? There are two things we can adjust with our final glide. The first is the height that we start our final glide, and the second is how fast we fly on our final glide. Faster we fly on a final glide, the higher our sink rate, and the slower we fly, the less our sink rate. We get a better glide, we'll stay in the air for longer. God, that's a rabbit hole to go down, isn't it? Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. Let's just say if you fly fast, you'll sink faster than if you go slowly. So if you're racing, you might have extra height to burn up. You can put the nose down, burn up that extra height, and arrive back at the perfect altitude. That's the goal, at least. All right, let's dive into this video and see what happens, eh? So he's starting at, it looks like 1,000 meters above the ground. That's about 3,000 feet. The equipment he's got here, he's got a phone, which is running Top Hat by the looks of it. He's got an Alex Nano, I think it's called, version 4, and looks like he's got an S100, which will be probably his main glide computer. I've got no idea if he's set up a safety margin on any of his equipment, which would mean the flight computer would calculate him to arrive at that height above the ground, just to give him a bit of a buffer in case you hit some sink. You don't want to be arriving at zero altitude. So there's a nice sky out there as well. There's quite a few cumulus. I can see this one straight ahead is falling apart, so there's nothing left there, and the one to the right of it is fallen apart as well. But the one to the left looks better. There's no obvious pathway to go here, so I don't know if he could choose a better route through the sky. So straight line is probably the best option, which is what he's doing. So it looks like he's traveling at 200 kilometers an hour, which is about 110 knots. Now, this is not a high performance glider, so that is reasonably quick. If he was going a bit slower, he would have a lower sink rate and probably be able to maintain his height better on the way home. So he's now down to 500 meters, which is about 1,500 feet above the ground. Now at this point in the video, I'm looking ahead and thinking that big brown strip next to the trees there, that must be the airfield that he's aiming for. So if that was true, this would be fine. He would be able to do a right-hand turn and just land on that airstrip. So what are the chances of that being the airstrip? Not good. So he's checking his phone here. As mentioned, the phone can't know everything about what's happening. For example, it won't know what the wind is like nearer the ground level like this. So you know there could be a little bit of headwind that he hasn't taken into account. So now he's just over 200 meters above the ground. So it's about 600 feet. So this is normally the altitude you would be on finals into a paddock or an airfield. This would be a great point. He's not sure if he's going to make the airfield. Just turn right and land in one of these beautiful fields. It's probably not that far away from the airport. Won't take too long to get home. So then I'm thinking, oh goodness, he's going to cross this forest. Well, I can see a gap in the forest. It's going to be tight, but I think he should make it. Doesn't look too bad. So then I start looking for the airfield here. Hits a little bit of lift there and slows down a bit to take advantage of it. Now I'm looking in here going, where's the airfield? Surely it's right here and he needs to put it down. And he puts the nose down here to speed up again. This is another decision point. If the airfield's not right here, he should be landing somewhere. And right about here I looked and saw this field out to his right, not with the power line in it, the next one over, and thought, if I was in this situation right now, I would turn right and land over those trees and in that field. But for some reason, he carries on straight. And then we finally see the airfield. You can barely see it over the trees. You can see he's a bit nervous by the way he put down that wheel there. He's now slowing down the aircraft to try and get over these trees. And hear that tone, he's hit sync. Oh, and then he's so close to those trees, and then he's so close to that building, it's ridiculous. And then somehow he makes it onto the airfield. Guys, there's a road right underneath him, and it looks like he's about to follow the road, but then he realizes, or he gets distracted by his gear, and I think he realizes it's a bit lower to the right, so he turns right here to avoid hitting these trees. But man, that left wingtip right here must be so close to those trees. Now he did pull out the brake right here at the end as well, so he must have felt confident, but man, I would not have pulled the brake out there that close to the trees. I mean, we don't have a view out his left wingtip, but man, that must have been really close. And then I was amazed how close, because he got the brakes out, he was sinking, and he almost clipped the right-hand side of his wing on the building there. And look at the angle that he's on, that close to the ground. So he should be, by that stage, he should be landing nice and flat. So what should you do if you find yourself low on final glide? Well, you got a few options. First of all, you need to decide, am I too low to make it back to the airfield at any stage? And if so, what are you going to do about it? If you're high enough, you can actually find yourself another thermal, climb up and set yourself up for a new final glide from that last thermal. If you're too low, you might not be able to get a thermal easily. The only option is to choose a paddock and land in the field. Obviously, you're way better off landing in a field than pushing on, unsure if you're going to make it, and crashing into a tree or a house or whatever. It's a really good idea to research what the landing options are around your airfield on the way back in, and do this from various directions, so that if you do find yourself low, you've got some other options to land in on the way back to the airfield. You never know when you're going to get hit by some heavy sink on the way back to the airfield. So how do you know if you're too low or not? We've got a few options. One, we can use our flight computers, and I often set up a box on my screen that tells me my glide ratio needed to the destination of where I'm going. Look at just the glide ratio to the destination box over time and see how it changes. For example, if you start off with 32 to 1 and that slowly increases as you get closer to the airfield, 35 to 1, 37 to 1, 40 to 1, then you know it's getting worse and your glide is not going nearly as well as it should be. On the other hand, if you start at 32 to 1 and your glide ratio starts decreasing, so 32 to 1, 20 to 1, you know you're probably going to make it just fine and the air you've been going in has been working well for you. Obviously at some point you should be using your eyeballs rather than trusting your flight computers. It can't know what the wind is like on the ground. You know, if you suddenly encounter a sea breeze with a headwind, that could put you out of glide range of the airfield without you even realizing it. Even though your computer says you'll make it, you actually won't. So you've got to look at the airfield and judge for yourself, am I going to make it back or not? And you've got to make the decision early as you can. If it doesn't look like you're going to make it, or even if you're not sure you're going to make it, you need to be 100% sure, then just put it down in a paddock as soon as you can. So that's the main problem with this flight. The decision making, it doesn't matter how he got low, the point is he didn't decide to land in a field on the way back to the airfield when he had the chance. And if there were at least two places he could have done this quite easily, there were some good fields there, and pushing low over a forest like that is never a good sign. So I hope that's interesting and I hope you learned something. Check out our online store for some cool t-shirts and hoodies, and we'll catch you next time.